Hey there, welcome back to Westeros Weekly, the Game of Thrones Q&A show, where we're gonna A all of your burning little Qs. We've got multiple huge questions this week, but first, I'm Philip Molina. With me always,
Maude, Garrett. And of course, we're gonna get right into it with the biggest question that we were left with after this episode. And whew, it's a doozy. It's a big one.
Huge.
Yeah.
Who the hell is the rightful heir to the Iron Throne?
Is it Daenerys Targaryen? Or is it Jon
Jon Targaryen.
You guys, he's legitimate. Yeah.
Sorry if we're freaking out a little too much, but this was one of the biggest, most important reveals in the history of Game of Thrones. And so fittingly, it came from the beloved, most important character in all of Westeros. Gilly.
They gave her something. That's fun.
Okay.
Finally.
We have to start with the context of this scene, what's going on and what it means before we can debate who actually legally has the right to the throne, which isn't even just between the two Targaryens, obviously.
No. So let's have a look at some context of the scene because it happened quite quickly. I actually had to go back and rewind it and be like, wait a second. So Gilly's looking through the most ancient books at the Citadel. Sam's been tasked with copying them. They're both bored out of their mind. Now, she's specifically reading the diary of the High Septon Maynard.
Do not bother looking up High Septon Maynard. He's not in the books. This is original to the show. Normally, High Septons do not take names.
No.
They just go by High Septon. The High CZ.
No.
The High...
Don't go easy with CZ.
Easy CZ.
All right.
They don't have names.
Now, he was the High Septon when Robert's Rebellion was happening. That's the era that we can talk about. And he was
And what about him?
Well, he was meticulous at taking notes. I mean, he counted everything and recorded it. He counted when he dropped some...
No, there were steps.
Friends to the...
He counted his steps.
He counted his poops.
And he also counted his poops. That's correct. Yeah.
Thank you. He also happened to count and record marriage annulments.
How convenient.
Right? Especially when Gilly wants to read it out.
So specifically, Prince Rhaegar's. Now, obviously, that's actually Prince Rhaegar Targaryen. And then the show doesn't give us the other names.
No.
But Rhaegar's only legal public marriage was to Elia Martell, who's Oberyn's sister.
Mm-hmm.
So that marriage annulment would be between the two of them.
Yes, and then the new secret marriage, of course, that the High Septon was performing would be between Ned Stark's sister and the woman who was supposed to be marrying Robert Baratheon, but it didn't happen. That, of course, is Lyanna Stark.
So you guys remember that last season, Bran actually already kind of showed us this information during that Tower of Joy scene, that Lyanna Stark had a baby with Rhaegar, and Ned pretended it was his, and he named it Jon Snow. You guys know this stuff.
Yeah, now that bit isn't exactly news. We already knew that Jon secretly has Targaryen blood in him, but this episode that we had, it explains in this scene where he's calming Drogo with his touch. Obviously, only a Targaryen can do that, because... Yeah. I mean, it's a dragon, and any other time Drogon doesn't like a person, they're dead. Except one other time. Can you remember the only other person that has touched a dragon and they were okay with it?
What's the big mystery about this person potentially being a Targaryen?
Tyrion. Mm-hmm. Tyrion Lannister was also able to get up real close and personal. My favorite part about this scene, though, Dany sitting on the back being like, are you going near my are you touching my... Ooh, you are. Doing, doing, love hard eyes.
Well, it's like when your dog likes your potential boyfriend.
So important.
Or girlfriend, or anyone.
Yes.
Yeah. George R. R. Martin said, by the way, that only Targaryens can do that, tame a dragon. They've inherited ability through kind of like magic in their DNA. So that's why people would always get burned up. So again, that reconfirms that maybe Tyrion is a Targaryen, but really that Jon is a Targaryen, the fact that this scene happens.
But of course, that wasn't the big news thing. It didn't matter. And overall, if you are a Targaryen, especially if you're Jon, it doesn't mean squat because he's a bastard. So it doesn't matter if he's Jon Targaryen, he's still a Snow, which means he's not legitimate until...
Except... Okay, thanks to this High Septon Maynard's poop log, he ain't a bastard anymore.
Yeah, let's talk about the legitimate marriage that has happened between Rhaegar and Lyanna, which means for the first time in history of the entire Song of Ice and Fire, we're talking books and show, this means he is a legitimate Targaryen. Do not call him Jon Snow anymore. His name is Jon Targaryen. He just don't know it.
Or maybe something else Targaryen. He wouldn't know that either, though. Aegon Targaryen II, Jaehaerys Targaryen. Anyway, it answers a really fascinating question that I've always had about the Tower of Joy scene. See, outside of Jon's birthplace were Targaryen Kingsguard. Now, like Sir Arthur Dayne was one of them. There was a bunch of them. But that's really weird. Even Ned is like, why are the Kingsguard here? Shouldn't they be protecting the queen? She has with her, she's run off to Dragonstone. She has a little prince, tiny Viserys, who's eventually going to be a huge jerk off and suck and be the worst.
That's okay.
But
he dies.
He does die in a fantastic way. Though he should technically be next in line for the throne. And that gets a little complicated with the timeline here about Tower of Joy, so I'm going to explain that real quick.
Yeah.
The Tower of Joy happened after Prince Rhaegar's death by Robert at the Trident, and it also happened after the Mad King's death by Jaime at the stabbed in the back. So those moments happen before the Tower of Joy scene, so Viserys would potentially be the supposed king now.
Yeah. Right. So what you're saying is, right here, the Kingsguard made no sense protecting Lyanna because technically the young king was supposed to be Viserys.
Yes, exactly. Right. But we just found out why that's not true and why they're there. This explains who, by the way, has the legitimate claim overall, in general. Here's the answer to your question.
Yeah.
In Westeros, the claim to the throne goes through the eldest living son of the eldest living son of the eldest living son, and so on and so on.
Okay.
And then when you run out of sons or living ones, then you can go back up the chain and try again on a different male heir, then theoretically a female heir eventually, but that's when you can go back up.
All
so
right.
It keeps going down.
Yeah, so picture a family tree here. Rhaegar was the Mad King's first son, and Rhaegar's first and only son, Aegon, was killed by the Mountain. So then the claim goes back to Viserys, okay? Except not anymore, because Rhaegar has another living son who is legitimately born right here.
Right. So even though Jon, let's call him Jon Targaryen for the point of this, was born after Viserys Targaryen, it does not matter. Rhaegar was next in line, right? So his son, Jon, outranks Rhaegar's brother, Viserys. And so if Jon outranks Viserys,
Then he outranks Daenerys.
boom. Exactly.
Okay.
Because Daenerys is also just another sibling like Viserys.
But because Daenerys is the only one left, she thinks she has a legitimate claim to the throne. But that's not the case anymore, which is why this is such a big deal. And she is not going to like that.
No.
I kind of thought that the fact that she was a woman shouldn't matter anymore because you know how Cersei, who really has no legitimacy at all being the queen of King's Landing and all of the Seven Kingdoms, that gender shouldn't matter. If you know, Cersei can be queen, then so could Dany.
Yeah, I feel like Dany has a lot of bad news coming. Like, she's also about to find out that she's his aunt. And that's also going to piss her off, too.
Well, actually, if you go back into the history of the Targaryens, they usually marry siblings to keep the bloodline going. Because their blood be magic with the dragons.
But if you go back into the history of Daenerys Targaryen, she wasn't down with marrying her brother, so she's not into incest, but I think she might end up being into incest anyway.
Hold on, are we like out mansplaining each other right now?
Wait, this is not mansplaining.
That's geek nerding.
Mansplaining is like, I didn't listen to what you said, but here's why you're wrong.
Okay, my bad. Also, this means that Daenerys' claim to the throne isn't totally illegitimate. It's not, right? It's almost exactly the same argument that Stannis Baratheon had to his claim for the throne as well, back when Robert Baratheon passed away. He was the next sibling in line, but he wasn't Robert's son.
Yes, except even he had to state that Joffrey and Joffrey's siblings were illegitimate in order to even make that work. Like if Joffrey had been legitimate, or Gendry even for that matter had been legitimate, then Stannis would not have a claim at all. So Jon's
because
legitimate.
He had no one else. He fought for it. Okay, right. So my question is, does Dany want the throne enough to do the same thing that Stannis did? You know, is she going to say that maybe Jon is illegitimate?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think that's a question that you guys should answer for us, actually. You can have that discussion in the comments. But also, we have to acknowledge that we are only talking about the Targaryen claim here for the throne, right?
Yeah. Well, since technically Cersei would argue that she has a legitimate claim. I don't know how. Maybe she's saying it's through Robert, Tommen, something. But she is there and she's not going anywhere.
Yeah, and that's not totally worth ignoring, Cersei's claim, because there's actually this awesome law professor that I've been like tweeting with at Louis de Raydon. Yeah, I think that's it. I've been trading tweets with him. I'm at Fimo. Give me a follow if you want. He discussed with me the legal perspective of who has the claim, and he said it's actually more like natural law than hard law. So basically, whoever has the best claim to the throne is the person that's sitting on it.
Right. So hold on. It makes sense. Robert usurped the throne, so he got rid of the Targaryen line. So whatever happened in the past is totally irrelevant and redundant because he's got it now, and there's a new succession. Therefore, the Baratheons have the right to the throne, which means technically Cersei.
Right. Except, because we can complicate it even more, if you think of Robert as almost an imposter or a thief that's trying to steal the throne, then the Targaryens are the ones that would still be the ones who built the throne. Yep. They created this kingdom. So one could argue that their dynasty always has rightful claim. And I love how complicated this is getting.
We've got to move on to the rest of your questions. Before we do that, though, you always check in with the map to see where everyone was and where everyone is now. So let's take a look at the map of Westeros, because everyone moves so damn fast.
Right. But before that, we have to thank so much our sponsor for this week. It's Vikings War of Clans. Guys, it's a pretty badass mobile game that you probably already know about, since I just found out there are 10 million of you that are already playing it. Being totally honest, I actually made myself stop playing it because it reawakened my latent StarCraft addiction, which I was completely obsessed with for like 10 years. Since it's kind of like that game, but it's on mobile, it's got really solid multiplayer, and it's way more like Game of Thrones. So yeah, I was like, I have work to do. I have to stop playing this. But thank you so much to them for sponsoring us. They actually helped us upgrade our sound quality, you might have noticed. So I can't thank them enough. Download the game with the link in the description, and you get free 200 gold to start with. Back to it.
Yay! Lannister pays their debts.
Okay, this is one of the weeks where I feel extremely grateful that I have been tracking this on a map, because for the past few weeks, everybody was packed into this same little area, just kind of like beneath the neck, right above Dorne. Everybody was right there. And then this time, everybody spread way the hell out, and they did it super fast. Yeah. So just to cover real quick.
You know why, though? There's 8 episodes.
Yeah, that's it. And that's why I love it. That's why I have
fact.
no issues with the teleporting. I'm on Team Teleport. But just there in our southwestern corner, we still have our Mr. Tarly. Sam, though, only we had to get rid of the other Tarly part of the board. But he's headed north. So I moved him a little bit above Old Town. We don't technically know where he's going, but we're going to talk about that later. Yep. Just a little north of him. Again, we still don't know where Euron is, but the last we saw him, he was leading that siege battle against Casterly Rock, where Grey Worm is. So we still have both of them over there on the west coast. Yep. On the east coast, we know that we have Jaime and Cersei reunited in King's Landing, and we do have Dany down at Dragonstone, but everybody else that was there pretty much was like, boop. Not literally everybody, but our awesome fighters, they all went north.
Seven?
Yeah,
our Snow-a-Side squad?
So I'm probably going to have to combine all these sigils pretty soon, like into like some cool badass, like,
oh, please.
Yeah, Magnificent 7 sigil or something, except for the Night King one up there.
Snow White and the 7 men, or the 6 men.
John White and the 6 other guys.
No, he's Snow.
Oh, right. Yeah,
good.
Why did I keep the white? I don't know. But so we have the Night King, who we're going to guess is now, we had him a little bit more west, but we're going to guess that he is between Hardhome and Eastwatch, based on the direction the Crows took. And then we have the Brotherhood without banners, the Free Folk, and then Jon's new crew, which is so badass.
Yes, I love these guys.
Yeah, obviously adding Gendry to the team is making you squirm a little.
Yes. I'm on Team Gendry. I'm so glad he's back.
There are no teams. You don't have to be in Team Gendry.
Why not?
He's not against like other people. Like on my team.
Let me be
John.
on Team Gendry.
All right, you're Team Gendry.
Should I just be on Team
House Stark?
Sure.
Okay, you just want Gendry to take the throne.
Stop.
So
Hammer time.
We got Jorah teamed up there, and then Jon. I'm purposely not mentioning Davos because he himself is even like, oh, don't include me in the fighting stuff. But these people, along with the people who are also nearby, are some of the best fighters in Westeros, period. Not all of the best, but a lot of the best. And that's something that a lot of people forget about the Brotherhood without banners. Those people were all in town for a tourney when they got formed. They were all knights and amazing people too. And then just real quick, we'll check in on Winterfell. We still have Bran, Arya, Littlefinger there, and also those various lords that are there, and a lot goes on there.
So let's move on to the Twitter Q&A. So every single week after the show, jump on Twitter, use the hashtag Westeros Weekly and ask your question. Basically, we pick out the question that seems to be getting the most traction or may have some really interesting answers. So we're going to answer them here right on the show with question number 1 coming in from @Agnes_B. Do you think Cersei, is it bees? Imagine if it was bees. Do you think Cersei is really pregnant, or is she making it up to keep Jaime on her side? Manipulation of the nation. Are we watching a soap opera?
Basically, right? Okay, we don't know if it's a real pregnancy or not. And it's actually a very good question. I think about it because George R.R. Martin loves history and sampling history. And there was a famous hysterical pregnancy of Mary the First in the 1500s. But that said, I'm going to guess that she is pregnant. Mostly, honestly, because there was a really quick moment with her and Qyburn. And if you're listening crazy closely when you watch that scene, you'll hear that Qyburn's just said to her he can give her something. And she's like, oh, that won't be necessary. So he could be giving her something for morning sickness, or giving her something to cause her to miscarry or something.
Or something to make her bloat to look like she's pregnant. Because she's a liar.
I think that would he's going to give her bloat, like gas?
Something to make her look like she's pregnant because she's a manipulating crazy bitch.
I don't think she would leave all the planning of how am I going to fake this pregnancy to a second before she's going to see Jaime. Quick, give me a bloat medicine.
I do.
Why would they have bloat medicine?
Have you seen me drink a beer? Whoa.
Oh, that's true. You just have a beer. I still think that it's going to be a very real pregnancy, but either way, let's be totally clear. This baby ain't getting born. Right? Maggie the Frog's prophecy was very specific, and it said Cersei's only going to have 3 children, and she's been right about everything else.
Yeah. So
I think it's a real pregnancy. I think the baby ain't coming, though.
Does Cersei just forget everything that Maggie Frog said?
Sure, yeah. Total denial, yeah.
Okay, mad denial happening there. We got another question. This one's question number 2. It's from @SmurfNow. Do you think we will see Euron and Yara again this season? I kind of love that we didn't have them in this episode. It was a refreshing, break from Wankertown. But what do I think? I reckon we are definitely going to see them again. I reckon that they're going to have a huge impact in the rest of the season and the couple of episodes that we have. First of all, the reason why he's a legitimate threat is something that was said. He references himself as the drowned god. And that is important because during that little roundtable session that the Maesters have, they brought up a little thing with the drowned gods. And we have to learn that every bit of dialogue that these guys say is super important, or any bit of dialogue that's getting dropped as tidbits. Because, hello, annulment. That was blink and you miss it, and a huge thing. So why is it so important that he calls himself the drowned god? And what was it that the Maesters brought up? Basically, they said that the legend, he promised the drowned god would rise up and destroy Aegon the Conqueror. So let's shift whatever that was into the current situation. And let's say that Euron claiming himself to be the drowned god means that he'll be bringing down our current Targaryen, Daenerys. Who knows? Now, in the books, it was said to be a kraken horn, and there was also a dragon horn. So apparently, if you blow things, you can control giant mythical creatures. Good on you, George R.R. Martin. But
it works.
Yeah. The Krakens apparently were real. They were supposed to be seen in the southern seas below Dawn. But I'm thinking, is he holding on to Yara? Because like the Lightbringer, again, a prophecy, it needs a strong sacrifice to bring something to life and at its full power. Hear me out. I'm thinking he necks his niece, Yara, and then he claims the drowned god abilities and can summon a Kraken. It can happen. Don't do this. This is a big thing. We could be getting this. Look at this. This could happen.
That's my thing. You think I'm this is judgment. This is awe that you're watching happening.
Picture a dragon coming in here, and it's a dragon versus a kraken.
If this happens, I'm gonna literally explode. Live on the internet. I'm gonna freaking lose my shit. If that happens. Seriously. I would love for that to happen.
Release
I don't
the
think
Kraken.
it will, but I would love that.
Anyway, the fact that he's saying drowned God could be a big deal. He could die soon. We don't know. We've got another question. This one coming in from @Jody1_Kenobi. Amazing Twitter handle. Please explain the scroll. I'm not that conniving, so I don't know the significance or the plan.
Jody, you're so sweet. You're not that conniving. I totally am. So I totally get what's going on with this so dramatic scroll from inside Littlefinger's creepy little mattress hole.
Ew.
I actually initially thought that it was like the kind of hole that like a teenager has to hide from his parents.
Oh.
Yeah. But Eric reminded me it's for a less gross reason. He gets into all of that in the breakdown. But actually, speaking of the breakdown, we're going to borrow my favorite section from those, and we're going to pull a zoom and enhance. There we go. All right. So here's what the scroll says. Robbie, Robothan. Look, I write to you with a heavy heart. Our good King Robert is dead, killed from wounds he took in a boar hunt. Father's been charged with treason. He conspired with Robert's brothers against my beloved Joffrey, my beloved, sure, and tried to steal his throne. The Lannisters are treating me very well and providing me with every comfort. I beg you, come to King's Landing. Swear fealty to King Joffrey. Prevent any strife between the great houses of Lannister and Stark. Your faithful sister, Sansa. So, where did this obvious BS letter come from? This was the letter that Cersei made Sansa write and send to Robb. It was kind of like an early version of the old bend a knee letter that keeps getting sent out now. It's all the rage. This was before that. Littlefinger knows about this letter because you can see right here.
Hello.
That's him.
It's creeping in the background again.
He's right there, like he always is. If you've been paying attention to the Littlefinger moments this season, by the way, he keeps watching things from a distance. Like as the Stark children are reunited, he's got all those shots where he's like watching and creeping on them. But that's because he's trying to like study what's going on when they're reunited, and he's doing a really good job of reading their minds a little bit and like identifying their weaknesses. And he knows that Arya thinks that Sansa wants the throne for herself.
You're thinking it right
North
now.
Throne.
You can't stop thinking
Right,
it.
exactly.
Yeah.
And Littlefinger knows that she's thinking that. So he's able to play a game of divide and conquer. Littlefinger can create like a wedge between Sansa and Arya, and then his power over them would be stronger while their own connections are weaker. What's really interesting is that it does look like Arya somehow is going to fall for it, at least for a little bit, which is like, come on, Arya. Like, Brienne's advice that Arya was overtly ignoring when she was training Pod. Brienne was like, don't go where your enemy leads you. And Arya's exactly going where her enemy's leading her because she was coming up with her joke that she says to Brienne instead. But I still think that so Littlefinger is leading Arya right now to this letter, yet I don't think he's going to be successful. Like,
I feel like so much has happened since that particular time in the letter as well that it's so irrelevant.
Right. Well, they'll be able to like unravel it really quickly. But also, remember the trailer for this season. It's the lone wolf that has issues and dies. The pack survives together. And you can't just say that it's Arya and Sansa in this pack. You also got to remember, boom, we got a little brother Bran who can see and know everything. So I think this entire plan that Littlefinger has, which, by the way, would be so annoying to me if it actually was effective and like messed up the hierarchy of the North and the Starks. I think it's all gonna blow up in Littlefinger's face. I think that he's betting against a family, and that happens to be the one family in Westeros that does not turn on itself. So I think, honestly, this moment, because we're so late in the series, is gonna be Littlefinger's downfall. Because honestly, like
this is all he's got.
He's trying to do these political games, and that's so over. Like, unless he's gonna like arrange a secret marriage between him and the Night King, like it's not, his political games aren't gonna make sense anymore. They're not gonna matter. So yeah, what the hell? Prediction: Littlefinger will not make it out of Winterfell alive because of this nonsense.
Even if I did disagree with you, I wouldn't, because I want him dead so bad. All right, we've got another question. This one coming in from @Bubblegun209. Where in the world is Sam going? There is no way Gilly would want to go back to the north, and Sam wouldn't want to go home. So where's he going? Winterfell. 100%. Has to be. Well, it's not confirmed just yet, but it is most likely. He's sick of not being believed. Every single time he tries to reach out to the people that can help him, he gets answered with a maybe, probably not, stop being a weirdo. So he wants to become a man of action. He took a bunch of scrolls, which is very, very naughty, and hopefully they're filled with information on how to tackle an undead army, and it's most likely he's going to be heading north with them. We have to remember that the method of communication is a lot like the method of transport, instantaneous. So,
Right now,
of course, he knows everything that's happened in the Letters of the Ravens, including the fact that Bran and Arya are back in Winterfell now, the fact that Jon is traveling. So that's 2 bits of information that pretty much directs him to Winterfell. But a key piece of information he doesn't know is the fact that his dad and his brother Dickon is now Dick off because they both perished real bad to Drogon's fire-breathing efforts. And the Maester didn't tell him, said he would break his little heart and he couldn't do it to him. So he could be he could be going straight back to Winterfell on that cart and then realise that if Jon has teamed up with Dany, that he's essentially teamed up with the woman that has destroyed his family because she needed to kill 2 people to make a point and they were a scapegoat. And we know what dragons like to do to goats. Eat them. Stop trying to be funny,
What's
Maude.
your whole point to build up to that pun?
Yep.
Okay, good.
When else can I talk
That's
about
why
goats?
we hired you. Yeah, for goat Game of Thrones puns.
Hey, we got another question.
Good.
Woo! This one is from Kershid Dali 289. How in the 7 hells did Jorah and Thoros know each other? Filup, you've got the answer for this one.
Yeah, the show just kind of like threw it in there with the rest. I'm like, yo, the people will figure it out. No. Jorah knows Thoros from the Siege of Pike, which was part of the Greyjoy rebellion that was the same thing that resulted in Theon being given over as a ward to the Starks. It's our buddy old Balon Greyjoy was rebelling, as you do. And it actually has, it's kind of a shame we didn't see it because it actually has some of our favorite characters with there. Like, it's not just Jorah and Thoros. There was also Jaime Lannister was there, Ned Stark was there. Obviously, that's how he gets Theon. But we didn't ever get to see it because it was before the show started. Though, there was a clip that I remembered and I found and I loaded up here of Barristan Selmy and Jorah talking about this moment when they first started going to Pike. About who like got into the castle first, and that's where you see that Jorah actually knows Thoros. You can check it out.
It was a bitch of a siege.
You were first through the breach of Pike.
The second. Thoros of Myr went in alone, waving that flaming sword of his.
Thoros of Myr. Bloody madman. Robert knighted you after the battle.
And then he tells a story about how he really needed to pee when he was knighted. Yeah. But here's what I actually think is interesting. The version of Thoros they're describing is so amazing and such a good fighter, and he's the one that wields the fire sword.
Flaming sword.
Right. Please let us see that next week. He sounds awesome.
What, you don't like balding man bun dude that sits in the corner? And I only say that because the Hound made a comment on it as well. Joking about man buns.
I just want him to be amazing. Please be amazing next episode.
Hey, we saw it in the trailer that he's going to wield that sword again. I'm
was
ready.
it him though?
Don't you dare.
Yeah.
What?
I think somebody else. Yeah.
Okay. All right. No worries. Oh, Beric. Beric? Okay, we'll have this conversation later. A lot to uncover. Let's move on to the power rankings. Now, this is the part of the show where you guys decide for us who is the most influential and badass character of that particular episode.
I'm very excited for this because I'm, again, a data nerd. You guys have heard that before. And I love when the data kind of splits in interesting ways. And it's always been pretty obvious who kind of had the power, who won that week. So there's been some surprises in the other parts, but usually it's been a lot of vote for the main one. This one was really, really close.
Yeah, that's
Who's got
right.
the power?
All right, number 3. My least favorite character because he's such a brilliant actor and he does creep so well, it's Littlefinger. Now, he's got 17.9% of your vote. So he's obviously there manipulating Winterfell and he's doing bidding on behalf of Sansa, which I'm not a fan of because we know that Sansa doesn't like him, yet it's working and he managed to fool Arya. Now, after last episode where she defeated Brienne physically, she hasn't quite caught up mentally, and that's where Peter is stepping in and kind of like leading her down down the rabbit hole.
Right, and then through Sansa, the Starks, through the Starks, the North. Like, I do get definitely this amount of power is kind of how he's always functioned. I just don't think it's going to last very long.
My fingers are crossed. Coming in at position number 2, Daenerys Targaryen with 18%. That's very close. Now, she's obviously got the upper hand in the war against Cersei for now. So much so, though, that Cersei's interested in taking the armistice.
Or a potential, maybe a fake one, but yeah, she definitely has put Cersei in a place where it's like...
She's a threat. Jaime's even saying it. 3 dragons, I've seen it in action, we are in trouble.
Right. Well, and even the initial Aegon's conquest, like, that didn't need much time to convince people, like, oh, he's got a tiny army and 3 dragons, we're done.
Yeah.
So that kind of, like, wraps up really quickly when people experience dragons in battle. The same thing kind of happened here, where it was just like, oh, we're done.
Yeah, it's kind of great to see Dany back on that list, though, because it was Cersei for a hot minute there. Coming in at number 1, though, Jon Snow, a.k.a. Jon Targaryen, at 33.2%. He's obviously convinced 2 major power players to put a pause on the war for the 7 Kingdoms to focus on his dead people problem that's happening in the north. Now, that is a hard thing to do because they don't believe him. Yet, they're going to put their weapons down, stop bickering down in the south, and actually focus on the real threat. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, it is cool. My issue with him being number 1, well, I think he does deserve it. If he's ever going to be number 1, it was like going to be this time. But like, I love Jon. He's my man. Like he's
no Gendry.
He's my Gendry, if you will. He unites people. That's all Johnny Snow. That's an accidental Dr. Horrible reference there. But I think people are underestimating how tenuous his control over the North is. Like, the moment he's gone, they're totally ready to rebel against him. And then just because Sansa isn't like awful, he doesn't lose the entirety of the North. So that's probably why he didn't even like blow anyone else completely out of the water in the rankings this week. Like, and the other 2 were apart by just 0.1%.
Hold on, he touched a dragon.
Yeah. So on the other hand, he touched a dragon.
Thank you.
Like a puppy, like a good boy.
Yeah,
so,
who's a good boy?
So there you go.
Drogon is.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's interesting as well to note that there was just a 0.1% difference between our 3rd and 2nd place as well, between Littlefinger and Dany. Come on, can we just get rid of Littlefinger? I think that would actually be more satisfying for me at this point than getting rid of Cersei. Oh, said it.
Oof,
yeah.
Gosh. I don't dislike him that much. I think he's going down, but I don't dislike him as much as you do. But Maude, let's get into the kill count.
Alrighty, so we had a few deaths this episode. It's Game of Thrones. We had Dany and Drogon with a kill count of 2. The Tarleys took him out with flame. That was fun.
But also...
Gendry.
He just makes you nervous?
Gendry's
He's not here.
back. I know, but Gendry's back and he's wielding the big old hammer, which is symbolic in itself. But the fact that he uses it and is ready to not even do swords, even though he's a smithy, he could have choose your sword. And he's like, no, I've got my hammer. And then Davos is like, are you ready? Yes, I am ready to go. And it's so cool. And then instantly when he's needed, it's like, pow, pow, face is gone. Like melons exploding behind them. But anyway, I think it's kind of rude that you're not impressed that Gendry has the same kill count as the dragon and Dany, though. Whatever. It's impressive. Team Gendry.
I think this goes
I'll have tickets to the
beyond
gun show.
the show.
What do you mean?
I've already
tweeted.
Gendry.
I already
You
tweeted
the actor.
Joe Dempsey.
I knew it. I sensed this.
I said stop hammer time.
Oh, you said stop hammer time to the actor?
Let me wallow in my pity and shame.
Yeah.
I'm so red.
Stop hammer time.
Hey, anyway, there's another episode coming next week. Let's have a look at the teaser, shall we?
Yeah, well, you get hammered.
He was in Skins.
We'll watch teaser and predictions on the other side.
Death is the enemy. The first enemy and the last. The enemy always wins. And we still need to fight him.
You're scared, aren't you? What are you scared of?
Holding in a shit.
At all times.
Yeah.
and ice shit.
Who am I? Who am I? Ready?
Maude, 30 minutes before we went on camera.
No, the Night King.
I think it's time for our predictions.
Yeah, let's have a chat about what we think is going to happen next episode. If you notice there was only one location. There was only one thing happening, and it was at the north. Yeah, so I'm thinking we're going to get a Hardhome 2.0 and just pretty much focus the entire episode on the events taking place above the wall because we haven't really seen much. We've only seen what's happened through the Raven's eyes via Bran and a vision that happened in the fire. We don't know what's going on.
I'm super down for Hardhome 2.0. That's my boy Miguel Sapochnik directed Hardhome, and he's one of the best directors. He's not directing this season. He's directing next season. But Hardhome was one of the best episodes ever. If this is anything like Hardhome, which I agree with you, I think it actually probably will be. I think we'll get some like cool fights with White Walkers. Then I'm already like signed up for like best episode probably of the season. But I'm gonna go one further for my prediction. I'm gonna guess that there's no way all of our Magnificent Seven kind of dudes are gonna make it out alive.
No way. As soon as you see them walk out and there was more than the 7, it's like, well, you're gonna die, you're gonna die.
No, but I don't think it's just gonna be red shirts, the like extra people. I think that at least one of our main 7 is going to die. And if I had to pick, even though I was just saying I can't wait for him to be all amazing, I'm going to have to say it's going to be my man Thoros. Because like I said, I do want to see him be a badass. But if he is, well, then there goes all his story potential. He's a badass. But also, the moment he dies, there goes any potential resurrecting for Beric Dondarrion.
I was going to say, that's it for him.
So shit finally would get real for Beric. And kind of for Jon, even though he said don't bring me back. But if you don't have a red priest up there, nobody's coming back.
Where is our red priest? Oh, she's over doing something else.
Well, him too, but so there's no red priest in the area.
They're going to die and stay dead?
That's my guess.
How are they going to burn the bodies quickly if they have to make an escape? They're going to be resurrected. Oh my God, we're going to see Thoros as a white.
Potentially, maybe.
I'd be real bummed, but I can't wait for next week's episode. And that is a great reason for us to dedicate next week's end screen artwork to these guys. So send us your art of the amazing 7 heroes looking badass, teaming up. You can use any movie as like a reference point.
Yeah, you can do Magnificent Seven, which they said was a reference, but also the Avengers, Suicide Squad, Justice League. There's so many of these. Whatever you want. Let's see them as the epic badasses that this team is before they get all destroyed.
Oh, more Gendry. By default with a hammer.
Yeah, Gendry would be in there. By the way, please, if you could do 16:9 aspect ratio so we can fill up the entire screen, that would be helpful. Thank you so much.
Hey, speaking of filling the screen, this week, watch until the end of the video and you'll see more of what I was talking about. That's right, my man Gendry in his big old arms and his epic return. One of them has a beard, which is what I wanted. He looked great. I actually saw another one. He's got huge old nipples. He's a big boy.
I was gonna say I have a beard, but I don't have those nipples.
It's Maude. Pull yourself together, woman. Hey, anyway, if you want to reach out to me at Maude Garrett, and you can check out Geek Bomb on YouTube too. Give that a subscribe.
I'm at Fimo. You can hit me up on Twitter, and I'll chat with you about Game of Thrones.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thanks
Looking
so
forward to
much.
seeing some more artwork. Bye.
Bye-bye.